took my girl out for a special date on our second anniversary. I know Marina likes the finer things in life, so I really worked hard to impress her. I took a long weekend from work. I saved up for 2 months just so I could afford the fancy restaurant that she'd always wanted to go to. And I bought her a bracelet to match the necklace I got her last year. But something was off. Marina hardly smiled. She was distracted the whole time and kept looking at her phone. And then, at her watch. When I took off her blindfold to reveal that I had taken her to that restaurant, she just said, "Wow," in the most disinterested voice ever. Even when they brought out the dish she always raved about to me, she just pushed the food around with her fork and barely ate. It was only when I opened up her present that I saw a bit of a spark in her eyes. "Oh, wow. Good. That's great. It's really lovely. Nice to see you developing a bit of taste after all this time. I hope you bought this at full price." "Oh, yeah, no, they gave me a discount because we're in there a lot, and the collection was from last year." "A discount? Ugh, ew, I take it back. But at least you got it from the same collection. Look at that. Now I have 2 items from the same line. Maybe in 10 years, I'll end up with the whole set." I gave an awkward laugh. Marina never gives anyone a straight compliment. It's always laced with a dig. But I was glad to at least get her something she liked. I was about to ask for our dessert, but then Marina finally smiled a genuine smile. And it captivated me so much. I wondered if I did something right, finally! But then I realized she wasn't looking at me at all. She was smiling at someone else. I looked behind me and saw, entering through the restaurant doors was my best friend, Joe. He was waving at me. No. He was waving at someone behind me. My girlfriend. I was so confused that I didn't even realize Marina had already stood up from the table. "I only came here to say goodbye to you. Sorry, not sorry. But Joe's been really good to me. Much better than you ever will. And he can buy a jewelry set. No problem. I can't be slumming it with you anymore. I deserve better." Hi everyone, I'm Taylor, and this is the story of how an average guy like me became a millionaire. Do you have a great title idea? Comment it down below and like the ones you think are interesting. You never know. Your story may be the next one we post. Alright, now back to the story. Everyone heard that. Absolutely everyone in that tiny restaurant overlooking the sea heard my girl publicly dump me for my own best friend. Oh, I cringed so hard. And I felt myself turn red. I was so embarrassed I nearly ran out of there. I paid the bill and made to leave, but someone tapped me on the shoulder. "That was rough." I smiled awkwardly. She was pretty and dressed like a model, so I thought she was just there to pile on, to make me feel bad. Or to say that Marina leaving me for Joe was for the best, because guys like me don't deserve girls like her. I know I was assuming things, but in my experience, hot girls are usually mean like that. Like Marina. What she did next, instead, was something I wouldn't have expected in a million years. "It's probably better that she dumped you. For you, I mean." Yeah, I know. Wait, what? What do you mean, for me? "Well, you know, she seemed a bit of a... no respect, but between you and me, full disrespect. She seemed to be a little, she seemed like a handful." A handful? You kidding? She's a truckload. "Well, you know what? My boyfriend ran off with my roommate, and I never got any satisfaction of getting my revenge. So why don't you stay a little bit longer and let's show them what a good time we're gonna have." I sat back down, much to the waiter's confusion. But Lisa and I definitely had fun. And we made sure they could hear us all the way at Marina and Joe's table. Lisa told jokes all evening, and I almost wet myself laughing. There I was, thinking we'd just pretend to have an awesome time. But we really did. And by the end of the evening, I could already sense Marina's dagger eyes. I glanced for the tiniest fraction of a second, and I could already tell the evening did not go as she planned. She was in a foul mood because instead of crying over here, I found myself a hot model to flirt with. And I bet she was over the fact that Joe kept his eyes glued on my new date. 2 birds, 1 stone, as I always say. Now, Lisa and I had amazing chemistry. Unfortunately, we didn't end up together. By the end of our date, long after my ex and my ex-best buddy left the place, she confessed that she wasn't ready to date yet. And even though she loved our impromptu date, we both agreed that we'd be better off as friends. I mean, that was all good. I didn't expect that we'd start dating anyway. I got to make both my ex and Joe jealous. That was more than enough. But hey, you won't replace Marina tonight. But I can replace your best friend. Lisa was awesome as a friend. She was there for me when I was down. She cheered me up, and she took me to places I wouldn't have discovered on my own. She always brought me as her +1 to parties with models and celebrities. And she introduced me to a lot of cool people. One of the people she introduced me to actually ended up hiring me. He was a strange, eccentric man, always flying around the world in search of the next big thing. When he heard that I was poor, he offered me a job that would pay triple what I was already earning as a teaching assistant. I like your character, and you teach in your daily life, so I think you'll be the perfect fit for the job. Mind you, my daughters are not easy, but I'm sure you'll manage. If you can keep up with Lisa, you can keep up with anyone. My driver will pick you up tomorrow at 10. It was strange meeting 3 identical people at first. I'd never actually even met twins, so it was really trippy. But Dee Dee, Alaska, and Roxy were very much real, and I quickly understood what their dad meant when he said they were a challenge. All 3 girls were in college, and they were failing. Every single one of their classes. It's because they like to party. They partied hard, and very often. I couldn't even understand where they got so many friends who just have all the time in the world to throw parties almost every day of the week. But they did. And of course, the girls skipped school to go to those parties. And they ended up spending a lot of their dad's money. It was up to me to straighten up their habits and have them on the path to success. After all, their dad intended one of them to inherit his company. So now, I wasn't only their babysitter, I was also their tutor. I made sure they went to school every day, even if it meant I had to drive them and personally escort them to their classrooms so I was sure they didn't run. Alaska was the worst of them. She always ignored her alarms and would bury herself in her goose-feathered blankets, moaning and complaining that it was too bright outside. I had to literally drag her out of her room every morning. But it didn't take long for them to recover all the horrible grades they had. Every day after school, I was their drill sergeant. I would sit them down, quiz them on the things they learned in school so I know they listened, and then we would do their homework. Every step of the way, I would check if they understood what they were learning. I restricted their partying. Their dad gave me free rein to do whatever was necessary. So, I implemented a game for them. The best student for the week got to go to 3 parties, and the loser only got to wash dishes at home. Roxy was best at calculus. Alaska was great at biology, and Dee Dee excelled at sports. So they all got to still go to parties, and they also got to learn how to do chores around the house. I was able to give them a well-rounded personality by the end of it all. They weren't just the rich party girls anymore. After only a few months, those girls had more appreciation for the time they'd spent in their classrooms, the money their dad worked hard to make, and the people who worked for them, especially the maids. On their graduation, their dad gave me an envelope. In it was a hotel key card. I was a little bit disappointed. I thought he was going to pay me for all the effort I put into fixing his kids' lives. Instead, he was treating me to a free stay at a hotel in the same city I lived in. Oh well, I guess it was alright. I had a great time with the triplets anyway. and I got to live in the mansion for a year. The girls even bought me lots of new clothes and shoes. When I opened my hotel room, I was shocked to see that it was a massive suite, and on the bed, there was another envelope. I read the note, and it said, "Thank you for what you did for my kids. I can never thank you enough." My brain exploded when I saw that what the envelope contained was a check for $1 million. But before I could recover, I was met with another surprise. From one of the rooms, Alaska, Roxy, and Dee Dee jumped out and shouted, "Surprise!" Wait, what? What are you doing here? I flipped the note on the envelope and I got the answer to my question. You did such a good job, so I thought you should keep teaching my girls. The building across your suite is my company headquarters. My daughters will be working there soon. Make sure my daughters become successful. You'll be living in this suite until they all become executives. If you succeed, you get the hotel. And so, our new journey began.